Alright, here's a little review on the M12 line from Milwaukee. I have fuels and I have some of the not fuel items here. I like the fuels better. They got better power. They got a better battery life in my opinion. But all these tools are heavily used. I used to work on diesel trucks. I picked up a lot of these tools during that time because we had a Cornwell guy that would come around and I had all the Milwaukee shit on the truck, so I bought it. And let me tell you, this is my most used tool out of everything that I have here, as you can see. I use this for everything from valve covers, pulling off just normal everyday skid plates and whatever on Cadillacs. I am a Cadillac technician, so for the most part everything I use is 3/8 inch drive. I do have the fuel stubby impact, the 3/8. That's in my truck. If you want me to do a video on that, I'll do one later. But that thing is also a workhorse. I've dropped that and this off of semi trucks when I used to work on those, right off the roof on the hard concrete, and they still work great. They got the 2.0 batteries. They're pretty decent. They're good if you got to get into a tight space. If you're going to get these batteries, just know that they charge really fast, but if you're going to use something continuously, they also die really fast. Especially if you're using a drill or something like this hacksaw here, you'll chew through that battery life really quick. But in my experience, they've charged, super fast. Within one job that I'm doing on a Cadillac, something easy, I can throw a battery on charge, and by the time I'm done doing whatever I'm doing, I got a fresh battery to keep going. These batteries here, these 4.0s, they are a heaven sent, and they are also a curse because sometimes you can't get into a certain place because you got this big ass square on the back of your fucking electric ratchet. So keep that in mind too. I use this every day. It's nothing special. This is the cheapy drill from Milwaukee. You can get from Home Depot or whatever. This thing's a workhorse. I use this for cleaning gaskets off of like where seals used to be or whatever. I got a roll lock disc on the front of it. I usually do it for valve cover gaskets, oil pan gaskets. I use that. It works great. I have no complaints. I also use a polishing pad on it every once in a while for little stuff that I run into. Usually for hard to reach spots. I have a big rotary polisher, but that's a 7-inch, and every once in a while I got to use this 3-inch polisher. This guy right here, this is what I use for interior work, which on Cadillacs, I do a lot of that, so it works great. It's got the quick chuck. You just push it in and you're good to go. This battery's dead, but it's another workhorse. 2 power levels. A lot of times I'll leave it on the first one so I don't break anything. You got delicate plastics inside of a car, and a lot of times you're screwing something into that or whatever the fuck you're doing. It don't matter. You just got to be careful every once in a while. Setting 2, it's pretty decent. It's pretty strong. I usually leave it on the second setting if I'm taking apart, air filter boxes or something, because on GMs they're all screwed together. And it works out pretty well. Every once in a while, I use these adapters for, basically stupid shit in the interior that's like 10 millimeters. Works pretty decent. They can all take a hit. I try to keep these clean because when you're working around $100,000 cars plus, you don't want to get anything dirty. Pretty decent. This here is fantastic for cutting exhausts off. I mean, it's an absolute monster, and I use this all the time, especially when I want to shoot sparks everywhere out of a fucking grinder wheel. That is perfect. And you pair it up with a decent blade. I haven't got to use these ones here too much, but from my experience, just in the little stuff that I was cutting up out front, they did pretty damn nice. But especially a short blade, if you're getting into a hard to reach place, you can hack a bunch of stuff off. I cut right through a sway bar link with this a couple times, and it didn't hiccup once. Keep in mind, if you're going to use this tool, you might as well get these bigger batteries because you will drain probably about 3 of these in a matter of like 10 minutes, in my experience. I mean, these batteries have also been through hell too. They've been charged and drained so many goddamn times over the course of these last couple of years. But this here is not a fuel. This is the standard impact driver that actually came with this drill here in one package. Came in a Milwaukee bag. Got all that together. And this thing's been running great too. This is the first one that I bought. And I wanted the fuel because the fuel has this chuck on it that you just drop bits into and it locks. And this one, sometimes I would fuss around with it a little bit with the chuck. I mean, it's a good quality chuck, but I've had some hiccups with this little assembly here. But other than that, it ran great. They've all taken a beating, especially this guy here, which is fantastic. Keep in mind, if you're in a tight space and you're going full throttle on this thing, you will bash your knuckles in just like a pneumatic ratchet. But it's got good gears in it. I've put a lot of torque on this thing. Like I said, I used to work on semi-trucks, and I've literally, I mean, absolutely pulled on this thing, and I'm surprised it hasn't broken. Every once in a while, I'll be using this, and the battery will tend to slip out a little bit. And that's only if I'm like, you know, absolutely beating the shit out of it, but it happens. I've thrown this across the shop before out of frustration, and it takes it every time. Usually not hard on my tools, but I mean, these things are so old, I wouldn't mind upgrading. And if one of these did break, I'd go right back out and buy another Milwaukee. It would just give me an excuse. So I've tried the snap-on stuff. The snap-on stuff is mediocre compared to the Milwaukee stuff, I think. A lot of guys swear by them. They're good tools. They work great. I'm not hating on them or anything, but in my opinion, I prefer the Milwaukee tools better. Plus, I like the fact that all these are interchangeable with these batteries. I hate having 6 different batteries for tools, and when you're flat rate and you're digging through a drawer that has 10 different styles of fucking batteries, it's just another waste of time. I like to just pick up a battery, slam it in a fucking tool, and start working. And in my field, you got no time for bullshit. You just fix things, and you fix things somewhat fast, and you get paid for what you fix. So, down and dirty review. They're fantastic tools. I mean, if you want something decent, go for it. I've used other tools. I've used Hitachis. I've used Ryobis. I've had them all, and I keep going back to these Milwaukees because they are all trusty, tried and true. They're tanks, and I love them. If you want to see more tool reviews, I have more Milwaukee shit that I can show you guys. If you want to see it, let me know in the comments. If you want to buy some of these, I'd say go ahead and pick one up. You won't be disappointed. They work great. I've left these things out in the rain too. And I shake them off and throw a battery in it, and the thing runs like a champ. So, thank you, and I'll see you guys later. Subscribe. I'll give you more shit to watch. I'm gonna need another beer.